Hey friends, welcome to Woman-Owned Wallet, the podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Dare, a serial entrepreneur who has already made all of the money mistakes, so you don't have to. Now I'm working on my money mindset, expanding my companies, and having open conversations with women around a subject that shouldn't be so taboo, money. My company, Woman-Owned Wallet, and I are determined to help you foster a more positive relationship with your wallet and help you create a life that makes you say, wow. Hi friends, Amanda Dare here. I'm so excited to be joined by my favorite money mindset coach, Melissa, yet again for something that just keeps coming up in my life. I'm just so excited to get into this concept. But first up, let's welcome Melissa. Thank you so much for coming back on Woman-Owned Wallet, the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here, have another fun conversation where we're going to talk about ways that we can help more women have more money in their wallets and harness the power of their paycheck. That is what we love doing around here. And we've got another great episode for you guys today because we understand the struggle is real. So I'm heading back to you, Amanda, so that you can get us started on what brought this conversation around in the first place.
So I just kept hearing this over and over and over, you guys. And maybe, my entrepreneur friends brought it up to me, probably 5 different people. I saw it on Facebook posts. My world was like flooded with this idea that basically you make it look so easy. People were placing judgment upon my entrepreneur friends and myself because we make entrepreneurship look so easy. And it's like a compliment, but also like a little bit of a backhanded compliment. And this whole idea of something being easy, and even how much growth that we've had over my money mindset, over the financial well-being of my companies, all of that was so hard. It was so hard. And it felt so weird to have people coming up to me saying it was so easy. And it felt like not really representative of how difficult it was. And so I brought this up to Melissa. We were talking about it. I'm like, man, when things are easy, if it's not easy for somebody else, they think all these things about themselves. They think it's not meant for them. They think they're not allowed to have it because it's not easy. And it's just interesting how it's represented within the entrepreneurship community. So there's just all this judgment around the word easy when things are actually really hard. So easy versus hard really came up for me. And you guys know that we love to talk about negatives versus positives and how do we get to that nice neutral place right in the middle? And Melissa said the most amazing phrase to me. So I'm going to let her say it to you.
Okay. It's not easy, but it is simple. And like you said, there's so much judgment behind the word easy. You think that it should be easy. I don't know about you guys. Almost everything in life that I've done that I'm really proud of has not been easy. But just because it's not easy doesn't mean it has to be difficult or confusing. We want to make it simple instead of complex. And I know a lot of people think that money is very complex, but you can use systems to help break it down to the most simple level and just start there. Then once you start there, you start flexing that money muscle, you're growing your money muscle, and it's going to make it where more complex things will feel more simple.
Yeah, I've always had all this emotion tied around the idea that money was hard. And like you said, confusing. And money was just something that I wasn't ever going to be good at because it was just so hard and I was just bad at it. And it meant something about me that really inhibited me from even starting. So the idea that money is hard or I'm not good at it, really fueled a lot of my avoidance that I dealt with that made money harder for me and made my hole deeper to get out of and made my debts have more weight upon them and made them more desperate to take them because I was just bad at it. It was just hard just for me. And it wasn't meant for me. So when people come up to me and say, like, it's so easy, they really just mean that it's hard for them. And so once again, we want to just release the pressure valve, just release that little pressure and allow you guys to think of it as something that doesn't have to have emotion tied to it. So when she said the phrase to me, it's not easy, but it can be simple, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing information. Like, first, I just felt so relieved. I just feel so relieved all the time when I talk to Melissa, but I love the idea of this concept of it's not easy, but it can be simple. Like, I really like simple concepts. I like to be able to, if you are one of those people with like a really long to-do list, it's like check, 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 check. You literally write it on your to-do list just so you can mark it off. That to me is a very like simple process. And as soon as I was able to release emotion tied to the words hard and easy that have all this judgment on them and all this judgment that I placed upon myself, and I released that emotion, my money systems became really simple. With her help, of course, we've got a lot of things set up. And it's amazing how little I was going to say think about money, but it's not really true. It's amazing how little I worry about money now that emotion is no longer tied to it, that it's not hard, it's not easy. That doesn't mean something about me, my personality, my spirit, my bank account, but these simple systems have literally just released the pressure valve. And every time I release that pressure valve, I feel so much better. And it allows me to address my money situation, no matter what it is, versus avoid it.
And really, let's pull back the curtain because it's not easy. Anything worth doing isn't easy. And we were talking earlier about how, especially in the coaching industry, you see people peddling this idea that it doesn't have to be hard. But sometimes life does have to be hard. Sometimes to reach your goals, things are hard. It doesn't mean that it's not meant for you. It doesn't mean that you can't achieve your goals. But we shouldn't be so afraid for it to be hard. It's okay to be hard sometimes. We can do hard things. But this idea that it has to be easy, it's just not true. And the more that people are willing to share that, yes, it is not always easy. Yes, we have struggles and that we're all in the same boat, the more people will feel okay and know that they're not alone and it doesn't have to be easy. And just because it's not easy doesn't mean it's not meant for you. And I know that you had said taking the emotion out of it because easy is so filled with emotion and making it simple, which feels a lot more factual and a lot less emotional, was really helpful to you. So tell us a little bit about how like making those little subtle differences just by changing a single word made a difference.
Yeah, it's really interesting how deep words can like cut, like how maybe a word that you heard in your childhood through your development as you grew, as you went through those difficult moments of like maybe some financial stress like I've been through. It's interesting to see which words affect you in which way and which ones kind of like trigger you. And how when people say you make it look so easy, like I do understand you're trying to give me a compliment, like it's flowing, it's great and all of that. But in a way, it like diminishes my experience with it. And so for me, it just felt like, well, you're taking away all of my hard work that I put into it. And I appreciate that the exterior view on my life is very, like I said, it's flowing, it's easy. But my reality is that I have gone through and addressed very difficult core concepts that made money really hard for me. My business has always been really hard. And I am someone, I completely agree with you that things being hard or feeling difficult or feeling confusing is not a reason to stop working towards them if it's a goal that you want to work towards. To me, money is a skill. Money is a learned concept. And I was always just under the impression that I was born bad at money. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Amanda, get your shit together. Like, that is not a thing that happens. Like, you've learned every other thing in your life. And so like that word easy just kept coming up. And I was like, it just felt like it diminished the experience. I mean, it triggered me because it didn't also include all of the hard work. Really, it didn't include all of the difficult moments. And I think even through this podcast and being the external processor that I am, even saying these things out loud to Melissa in our coaching sessions and on this podcast, like I continue to learn more about myself and more about those words that really do hit me in a weird way. And it was really the connotation that came with that word. And it's really like that word before too. So easy. It's so easy for you. And I'm like, girl, it maybe is flowing now, but I've been an entrepreneur for 12 fucking years. It has been a rough road. But I really like going from the word easy or hard that have so much emotion for me and triggered me in that way to the word simple. It can be simple. And even you saying it can be simple allowed me to open my mind to the idea that simple, like those simple things really get me through it's almost like monotony. Like I just need to like handle the simple thing. It just didn't have the judgment. And maybe it's possible that it's the opposite for someone listening, like, oh, your business is so simple. I mean, somebody could have said that to you and maybe you're feeling the opposite way. But for me, that word simple, it took away the need for it to be complex, for it to be confusing, for it to be hard. And it allowed me to set up habits that I really just had to continue to allow my money to be simple and allow it to be a concept that I got to learn and explore versus something I was just bad at.
I definitely agree that using that opening that it can be simple, it's a real great way if you're feeling some resistance to that idea that it is simple, just opening up the possibility that it can be simple. That has really been a great way for me in many aspects. Just open a possibility to something that you know is true, even if you can't believe it for yourself in the moment. So I definitely agree with you on that. I really liked how earlier you said that money is a skill set, because I really like to look at money as like a relationship, something that I have to spend time on and give energy to. And it's a give and take. And if you are like me, I've been married for 19 years. I have people say, oh, you're so lucky to have such a good marriage, or you make it look so easy. But there's nothing easy about a marriage. It's all about the give and take of a relationship. So I really like to think about money in that way. You need to give it time and love and attention. And it's simple. It's not easy. It takes hard work, but it's simple and it's worth it. At the end of the day, the relationship is worth the effort. The more you put into the relationship, the more you're going to get out of it.
Absolutely. Yes. I love that too. And as someone who has also been in a long-term relationship, connecting that back to money and to marriage for me as well, but as a relationship is solid gold to me, because you are in a relationship with your money. If it makes you feel some kind of way, you're in a relationship. If I'm going to push back at my money when it doesn't make me feel good, just the way I would with my partner. So it's just kind of interesting. And as someone who has been, I guess we've been married for like 8.5 years, like our hardest years, because we've been dating almost 15 at this point, or together almost 15. We've known each other like 19 years. So I'm like close to you with how long I've known my husband, but we've been together such a long time and our relationship has changed over time. It's developed, it's grown. And even for us, my partner and I, my husband and I went through marriage counseling at the very beginning of our marriage. And that was something that at the time we were like 24, 25 when we got married. We just didn't have all of those communication skill sets. Like I was saying before, we had to learn those to be able to interact with one another in a positive way, to be able to break negative cycles that we were going through that we just couldn't get out of. We had to address serious things, and we utilize therapy and marriage counseling to be able to do that. And right now, especially right now, we're like the strongest we've ever been. And we utilize those concepts over and over and over every day. So I feel like thinking of it as a relationship, it's so useful to have those skill sets, to have gone through that experience, especially together. And you and your money are in that relationship. And you need to be able to have that give and take. Give yourself grace, just like you would give your partner grace and yourself grace, and let yourself really grow. Let your money relationship grow. So I love that you equated that to a relationship. That really hit home for me, Melissa. So thank you so much for sharing. And we're going to wrap it up right here. Place that nice little bow on it, because you know what? This is simple. It's a simple way to end the episode. But thank you so much for joining us, Melissa. How can they get a hold of you if they want to hire you, if they want to follow you, if they want to learn more?
Yes, you can come see me at melissablandfordcoaching.com or Facebook at Melissa Blandford Coaching. And then over on Instagram is The Real MB Coaching.
Amazing. And thank you guys once again for coming through this episode, for listening about how money might not be easy right now, but it can be simple. We love you guys so much and we appreciate you listening, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye. If you want to put more money into the wallets of women like we do, then check out our website, thewomanownedwallet.com. And we can't wait to continue the conversation on our social media. So definitely follow us on our Instagram at womanowned.wallet and on TikTok at womanownedwallet. You can support us by following our podcast on Apple, Google, and Spotify. And don't forget to leave us a review. Thank you for listening to Woman Owned Wallet, the podcast.